There's breaking news from the New York Times tonight. According to an analysis of Donald Trump's tax records, which were obtained by the New York Times, the president of the United States has a secret bank account in China that he has never revealed in his financial disclosure forms. The Times reports the foreign accounts do not show up on Trump's public financial disclosures, where he must list personal assets because they are held under corporate names. The identities of the financial institutions are not clear. Donald Trump has long sought all sorts of business deals in China. His efforts go at least as far back as 2006, when he filed trademark applications in Hong Kong and mainland China. Many Chinese government approvals came after he became president. The president's daughter, Ivanka Trump, also won Chinese trademark approvals for her personal business only after her father became president and she personally joined the White House staff and became a federal employee. According to the New York Times, Trump's plans in China have been largely driven by Trump International Hotels Management, the one with a Chinese bank account. In 2017, the first year of the Trump presidency, the company reported an unusually large spike in revenue, some $17.5 million, more than the previous 5 years combined. It was accompanied by a $15.1 million withdrawal by Trump from the company's capital account. Joining our discussion now, Tim O'Brien, senior columnist for Bloomberg Opinion. He is author of the book TrumpNation. And Tim, I always wonder on these nights, what did Tim know and when did he know it? Since you're one of the very few people who ever got a chance to look at Trump tax returns when he was suing you for libel. And of course, you won the case and in the process got a chance to look through discovery at those tax returns. What's your reaction to what I'm learning in the New York Times tonight, and you might have already had some hint of?
Well, even without looking at Donald Trump's tax returns, Lawrence, nobody should be surprised that he has a bank account in China. He tried for over a decade to get business done there. You've already outlined Ivanka's efforts. Jared Kushner, prior to Trump winning the election, was courting Chinese investors to bail the Kushner family out of 666 Fifth Avenue. The Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, the biggest bank in China and one of the biggest banks in the world, was a tenant at Trump Tower. And Trump has bank accounts all over the world. Most of them have no money in them. He does not let cash sit around very long. But regardless, and the Times story is speculative. They're trying to connect dots. They're leaving a lot of breadcrumbs here for people like Cy Vance at the Manhattan District Attorney's Office to follow. But even if there's nothing ultimately untoward about what moved through that Chinese bank account, you can rest assured that the Chinese government was watching it the entire time. Elite members in the Chinese business community knew what was going in and out of that account. And if there was anything untoward, that then becomes leverage that the Chinese government and Chinese business interests can exercise over the president of the United States. And this is emblematic of what's haunted the Trump administration from day one. Is Trump is financially conflicted. He breaks the law or bends the law willy-nilly. And this is a national security threat because he's compromised by relationships like this.